Welcome back, everyone, to OpenLine. Glad you're with us talking elder care law. We have Barbara McGinnis with us. She's joining us via Zoom from her office there in Hendersonville, Takacs McGinnis. And there's so many things to talk about with this topic. One is that I know when Tim Takacs comes on, he's always very concerned when people say, well, should I just go ahead and give my money to my kids and have them kind of oversee it, and they will help me as I'm moving into this, next chapter. Tim doesn't like that. I'm sure probably you don't either. I mean, what are the problems?
No.
Why not just, give money to the kids? Kids can, oversee things. Maybe I'm going to move into town. They can help oversee, pay my groceries, whatever. Just give all my money to my kids and go from there.
Well, sometimes it's risky enough just sharing authority over your money, and that's the power of attorney. Sometimes that can be problematic with your child is a little, well, I hate to say deceitful, but a little deceitful, right? I mean, it does happen. We hear about it in the news. Not discouraging powers of attorney. That's still the right thing to do. But I don't believe in just outright gifting large sums of money, stocks, houses to your children in hopes that they are going to do the right thing. People spend so much time worried about the government getting their assets that they don't care about their children getting their assets and the potential liabilities that occurs. There are legitimate, bona fide ways that we can mitigate risk of assets going to paying for long-term care, predominantly through the use of trust. And it doesn't have anything to do with just giving your assets to your children. Even if your child is perfectly honest and trustworthy, as most are, there's still the potential that bad things happen to nice people. And you're worried about this one scenario over here and totally disregarding the possibility of bad things happening. Divorce, bankruptcy, medical illness, a car wreck and a lawsuit. The more people that own an asset, the more risk that asset is exposed to. So I definitely do not encourage gifting. Not to mean that you can't be nice at Christmas time. I'm just saying you're not done with your house. Don't give it away, right?
Right.
That kind of thing.
And that's I'm always interested in that. I mean, it makes sense. If they do have, let's say, a medical problem, and then the hospitals come after them to pay off these medical bills, and you have given, ownership of your stocks or your house to your kid, then the bank's going to come right after that house. They're not going to say, well, wait a minute, that's
right.
They're not going to.
That's really mom's. She's living there. It's
right.
Like, no, it's now deeded to these other people, which is part of what the trust helps avoid those sorts of situations. So, and the other thing about giving things away that a lot of times I hear people, a lot of confusion about is the IRS says I can give $15,000 a year to my kids, right? And that's not going to be a problem. You're right. From an estate planning tax basis, the $15,000 per year per person is absolutely fine. In fact, next year it's going up to $16,000. But those rules have absolutely nothing to do with creating eligibility or protecting assets for future long-term care costs. People know about the 5-year look-back rule. They want to figure out how do they protect their assets. Well, it's not by giving $15,000 a year away to your children, unless you're just trying to reduce your taxable estate. If you're trying to get TennCare eligible, that is not the way to do it.
Okay, very interesting. Let's go to Tom. Hello, Tom.
Hey, good evening, people. I have a question about TennCare. Number one, I don't understand how it works. I'm going to be 75 years old in about 49 days. A while ago, what you had to do to get TennCare, I don't remember. You had to jump through all kinds of hoops and get somebody to do something, all that stuff. And in between that, I thought they were working on it. In between that, I got bacterial spinal meningitis. Nearly died from it. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. So anyway, a doctor, some friend of mine came by. He's not with us anymore, and discovered me and took me to the hospital. And they're drilling him about, does he do drugs? Does he do this, do that? My friend said, no, he doesn't. So anyway, a doctor, when they picked me up to put me on the gurney, he said, I knew what was the matter with you immediately. Your neck was stiffer than a board, which is a sign of that. But anyway, to make a long story short, after all that's done, I found out I don't have TennCare. I don't have anything. So it just launched me into debt I'll never get out of.
Oh, no, that's terrible. I'm so sorry.
Tell me about it. Well, that's all right. Don't feel sorry for me. I'm still alive. But anyway, how does TennCare work? Is it still around?
All right. All right, go.
TennCare is still around. There is TennCare insurance, but Tennessee has not expanded the eligibility criteria for the different TennCare insurance. So it's still available for pregnant women, for children, for certain medically qualified people. It also includes a large class of folks over the age of 65 who are disabled and who are applying for long-term services and support. And within that is where the Choices program comes in. And Choices is what helps pay for long-term care in a nursing facility. It helps a little bit with assisted living, and it can help a good bit for folks that are trying to stay at home by providing some in-home caregiving support. So
somebody like him, somebody like Tom, how would he get it? I feel like he thought he was just in it. Obviously, he wasn't in it. You would know if you're in it because it takes a lot of work to get into it. Is that right?
Exactly. So usually over the age of 65, you get Medicare. And then if you are low income, and you might qualify for some of the Medicare savings programs, you would apply for that. And I would apply for that on the Choices website. It tells you can do the tn.gov Choices, and it tells you how to apply for it. There's supposed to be one single door entry kind of thing, and that's not exactly the way, practically, that's not what I see works. It's calling your area agency on aging can help you qualify or can see if you qualify for these programs. He would have, a person 75 years old would have Medicare primary and could have one of these Medicare cost-saving programs like the QMB program, which helps pay for Medicare supplements and copays. If you have income's about $1,000 a month, $1,100 a month is the cutoff for that.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all very interesting. And people are worried about TennCare taking their house, like coming back to look back. We talk about that sometimes. What do people need to know about that? How does that work?
TennCare will not take your house when you're alive. TennCare would not take your house when your spouse is still alive. TennCare can recover from your estate, and most likely that consists of a house when you pass away. When you think about it, you can have $2,000 and a house and a car. That's really your house is what we're talking about. So at the death of the TennCare recipient and their spouse, then TennCare can file a claim against your estate. If you own a house, that means that they could possibly force a sale and recover their debt. There's also ways to protect your house from that occurring if you get the right kind of legal help.
Right, and do that early.
Right.
Don't wait till the last minute. is the thought there. Okay, we'll take a break. Come back. We have one more step. Maybe we'll talk about trusts or wills. I always like talking about that. We'll take a break. Come back right after this.